Here a very short, brief, really fast zippy zip video for you. How to create this pattern along a path. Like this. Okay. I will break this video down into two parts. I will do a very quick overview of how I did it by analyzing and narrating my timeline, and then we will actually go into part two and just rebuild it. So let's go back to the beginning of time. And there we are. So to start, I actually first created myself a small inspiration board. A nice lounge chair for the shape. This image of the chair as an inspiration for the pattern. So the design kind of principle. And then here, this inspiration of the tube-like furniture piece, design element cylinder of various sizes. Okay. And then I put in also here a reference image from the front and from the side, including the figure sitting on it. So actually know where the head is and the neck is. Okay, that was actually very useful because then I'm able to create a sketch. Let's take a look at the sketch. You see it's very simple. Just I drew these three lines and then the corner points I filleted with the fillet command. Then I drew a spline, a horizontal line, and filleted it. And the spline is tangent to this line. Okay. With that line, then I can extrude a surface exactly as wide as the object should be. Pretty nice. Thicken it, because when I thicken it, then I can actually select all these vertical edges and round them. And by rounding them, you see then later for the pipe command, I can select actually a complete loop. So when I go create pipe, you see here, it selects the whole loop. Okay. So there's now the pipe and the inside. That's the reason why I extrude it to the outside for the thickness. I can remove this. Yeah, and there we are. There's the pipe. Super easy to create this kind of complex bend by simply making a flat surface, thicken round edges, pipe it. So 50% is done, and then we draw in the cylinders. So for the upholstery and the steel pipe that's in the inside, extrude it and round the edges. And there you can see it is actually hollow in the inside. And then we also build the pipes which are inside. Okay. Yeah. Now it's time to do the pattern. And I use two objects, actually the upholstery piece plus the pipe that's in the inside. I set this to spacing. So how much spacing is there in between? How many pieces? Where do we start? And then also the distance. Yeah, and that's basically how easy it is to create a pattern like this along a path. Okay, then let's get started rebuilding this. There is a shared file. Please go ahead and download it. The download link is inside the video description. So here we are. First thing we will do, sketch from the side. If we take a look at the object, we can see a line, rounded corner, so a fillet, a line, rounded corner, a fillet, a line. And then this is probably an arc with a rounded corner. Okay, so we will create a sketch and then very easily block lines slightly roughly out. And the blue lines are a little bit too thick and we can't really see the sketch very easy. So we leave the sketch, right click on our edit canvas here, and then we lower the transparency. So we can just see it, and now the sketch is easier to see. Then right click, edit sketch. This is now much better. This line is horizontal. This is very good. I will specify the height here because this is actually a value that's important. Maybe 0.5 for the moment, or 0.75. Good. Escape. Then now I need to move this point and this point till these two lines kind of like run parallel through the sketch. There a little bit, and maybe this a little bit down. Yeah, there we are. So pretty big. Then this endpoint here, I move a little bit back. Very good. So, okay. So now here we have actually an arc. I'm quite sure that's the way how this was built. So I click probably somewhere here. You saw how I moved my cursor to this point, and then I can drag out a snap line, click, and then try to figure out where is this. Maybe roughly there. Okay. Escape. And then this line I can move back to there. It looks pretty good. When I select this arc with this point, I can move this a little bit or click and drag. That works too. Now we have the linear layout. Now we can go ahead, fill it, and use the image as a reference to round everything. There. Okay. And here we can do the same. And then this interesting thing happens. So if something like this happens, no problem. Let's see, when we lock actually this point, and then this should not happen again. There, okay. That was a little bit of a seizure. And now we have a line arc, line arc, line arc, and a transition into an arc. Okay, so that's one way actually how to do this. This created a backrest that is very evenly deformed because this is based on an arc, so a circle. So if I right click and say toggle curvature display, or even do the same with these two, there you can see they're all very uniformly deformed. If I, however, would like to have a little bit more of ability how to sculpt this backrest, I will delete actually this arc and this fillet, and then let's go to create spline, and then we use the control point spline. I click at this line, one click for tangency, one click for smooth or G2, one click for the bend, and one click for the end. Okay, and escape, so I don't do anything anymore. Then I can click and drag everything. Here is now the interesting process to do. I moved this point down a little bit on purpose. When we zoom in here, you can see how this curve to this line is not very smooth. I want to create a nice smooth transition. So I can use a tangency relationship. So now you see that the first point actually got moved into position, so they are online, and this spline now flows nicely in. But we have this second point here. And this one you see I can move up and down freely. So I will delete actually this tangency constraint, and now I will go to curvature. Click and click, and then you see now both points are in the line. The main difference is I have 2 points which control how the curve comes, how the curve comes down and then flows into this line. Over, because I have 2 points over a longer distance, right where my mouse is here, the line gets straighter. Let me undo this back to just the tangency. There you see how this is actually a really short distance. And if I redo the steps for G2, you see this is a much longer. So this is simply a softer, nicer flow. Pipes are bent over cylindrical shapes, so for this they would need to create a special shape to bend this over when we use, for example, this more organic looking shape. Where we had everything bent over an arc, or when everything was modeled with an arc, that was easier because when, for example, let's say here I would like to bend this, so you understand there will be somewhere a really big metal cylinder over which I will bend these pipes. Here, as you can see now when I move this to here, yeah, this is a little bit less possible because it is a bend curve. But this actually looks nicer. Very good. Then we can put this point to here. Very nice. And I know I would like at one point to have here also a backrest or like some sort of a line which I could hold onto. Make this 5 inches. Very good. Okay. This is all pretty good. The sketch is kind of done. Now I can go to surface and extrude everything left and right. So maybe distance, I extrude this by how much is this? So 9, yeah, let's say 9 inches. And then we go symmetry. Very good. Really good. Okay. Yeah, perfect. I did actually not fillet this corner here in the sketch on purpose, just to show you there are two ways in general how you can do this. Inside the sketch, I rounded these lines. This is something you can do. Or if you want, you do not fillet the sketches, and then in modeling, like what I'm doing right now, then we add actually a fillet. The outcome for the surface is pretty much, as you can see, the same. The main difference is I maybe have a more simplified or a more detailed sketch. I like more simplified sketches because they're more easy to manipulate than actually a sketch that has all these elements already put in. To change this here, I could go back and then change the radius, etc. Well, this one got locked, so okay. So let's unfix this. There. Okay. Very good. Okay, so this is just only a matter of how you would like to work. The surface is very good. We built the surface simply to create now a solid object. The thickness here doesn't really matter. And I will hide actually this surface because the reason why I created this solid piece is now I have these vertical edges, and those actually I can round. By the amount you would like, let's say 3, 2.5. Okay, very good. And by having these vertical edges rounded, you see now that between this line and this line, I have an arc. So a transition. Same at the bottom. There. And then we go to solid pipe and simply have this path with chain select turned on. We select, make a new pipe. There we are. The thickness for the section, let's say 1.5 inches. Okay. This solid now we can remove. Maybe show our sketch again. Yeah, very good. Nice. No? So with the pipe command, we can always go back and change the size of the pipe based on how we would like to have this 1.5. For example, I have, that means if I would like this pipe to really sit on the ground in my first sketch, then this should be 1.5 inches divided by 2, which is 0.75. Now I really know that the ground is really the ground. So this is done. And now we can go ahead and actually work on the pieces that go in there. I will hide all this, make a new sketch. There we are on this plane. And then I need to figure out where is all this stuff here. So I will go to create and then say project this one in, project this, and this in. Then my first sketch here I can hide. And you see now I have just this one. And along that sketch, I can create another circle. And I glue this onto the kind of like that spline. So I start to see, I move the cursor right onto the spline and then click and drag, press D for dimension. This, I don't know, maybe 8, or this is way too thick, 4, too small, 5, 3, and then we can go to a side view, maybe turn on here the canvas, but this time now I will turn on the sitting canvas. Very good. And I would like to move now this, for example, up a little bit. I can actually not move them freely around. I can only move them along the path. You see it doesn't go left and right. I can slide this one up. And here actually I have to stop because then the pipe actually here bends. So you notice that here we have an issue. This does not follow this. So how can we make this pipe flow actually this line? So the answer to that is pretty simple. Let me go back to here. Here you can see I projected in the lines from the initial sketch, including the rounded corners. Here I do not have this because I decided in my modeling they're not too round and put a fillet in there, the sketch. So I cannot project actually the sketch. Here the sketch I will delete. So I delete it, so it's simply we don't make any mistake and make a new sketch. And then also here, this command deletes this surface. You see that, no? So delete that feature. Oh, we can't do this while we're inside the sketch. Okay. Let's delete it. So there's that surface back. Edit sketch. Very good. We go to project intersect, and then I simply intersect these lines or surfaces, and that generates then the sketch for me. There you are. You see? Pretty simple. Now this surface I can remove and then go back to the edit sketch. You see the surface is back because I jumped actually back to the sketch and it's in front of this delete command. So in case you get confused. And now I can continue or repeat what we did before. So we said this is maybe 3, these are 5. And when I press M to move, select this one. Oh, that's interesting. It moves up. That shouldn't really happen. Hilarious. Okay. If I want to put this onto this arc, then I would simply draw this actually on the arc. See now how it continues that way. Okay. Interesting. So good to know. Shall this happen in your case? How we need to modify actually this ring. We would like to put this one kind of here. So maybe something on that arc. Okay. So I will keep it there. Very good. And then I can give this the radius. Very good. Escape. This is actually put on that spline. Yeah, there it does a similar. It doesn't flow that way down. Okay. Don't fret. Very good. finish, and then I can do an extrusion of both by, let's say, 8. We keep a small distance. Okay, we do this each side. Very nice. So because I don't touch, that's our new body. Then if I want, I can actually round all these corners. 0.25. There we are. And now we can check, before I continue working, how does this pattern look like? Pattern, this body along here, and here, 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 and here. Drag this one out. I would like this to be more spacing oriented, so I can visualize the amount of steps there in between. I could measure the distance between the bigger and the smaller circle, or simply eyeball it for the sake of getting this demonstration done faster. And then we add more steps. Yeah, that actually looks pretty reasonable. Good. So that tells us this idea is good. Right click back to the original sketch. We also need to have pipes. So there's a ring, D to give this a dimension. And I say this is 1.5. This is, for example, the bigger pipe. So we should make this then 1 inch for the crossbar. And then here, 1 inch. I simply say 1 inch. Here, let me go back to this position. So when we do now create our pipes, you see when they cut in, they are smaller. This way you can get really nice transitions. In real life, we would drill holes into the bigger pipe and then put the smaller pipe in and then weld it. We simply say new. This is very good. Okay. And then when I go back to here and right click, edit this extrude, I need to make sure that I deselect the inner parts because I don't want to have this to be solid. There you see how we have the holes there. The fillets then remain, very good, all nice. And then here, this command I will delete because I will now make a flow with both here. So pattern on path, bodies U and U along this path, and here, 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 and there. We set spacing, probably 20, other direction, maybe 19. Okay, there we are. Now we could give this model to somebody who then could take measurements. They can figure out the pipes, how to cut the pipes, how to bend the pipes, how to drill the pipes, assemble everything and make a prototype. And we could test it out. And that's how you do a pattern along a path. Easy.